Yeah, and Lena, before we get to the timeline here in a second, this even led to a province-wide alert for this shooter at one point this afternoon after the initial crime scene that was at this location here in Mississauga. You see the crime scene that's set up behind me. This is where that Toronto police officer was shot and killed. The Tim Hortons that you see there, according to Toronto police, he was inside when he was shot and killed around 2:15 this afternoon. That's when all of this started. Police say this officer was in the area taking part in a training exercise for traffic officers. We're going to make our way around here, Scott. Just want to show you what's left of these fans here, because this is absolutely unbelievable. You could see all the fans that are gathered around the side of Tiff Bell Lightbox right now. Fans obviously incredibly excited. She just wrapped up within a matter of minutes, now making her way outside as well. Fans weren't sure, Scott, if she was actually going to be able to come and greet them or not. So this was obviously a big surprise for everybody. This was a last-minute thing. We weren't sure if Taylor Swift was actually going to make her way out, and she ended up doing that. What was this like for you?
I didn't get.
Did you get to see her?
Saw her head, like her hair.
What was that like seeing her over there?
Overwhelming.
See a lot of emotional fans, a lot of very excited fans here, Scott. Not clear if she's going to be sticking around. We did see her go back inside. Not clear if she's going to come back out later on. But again, very excited. And I got to tell you, everybody just kind of swarmed this area as soon as she made her way over. Nick just got to this location a couple minutes ago, but this is a line like I have never seen at any polling place that I have ever covered. It actually goes around the length of the building here. People are socially distanced, but then it flips around the other side, and we even have some people saying they're lining up on the highway. Also, I can say I still haven't seen the end of the line, so tough to say if there is somebody there, if there's somebody with Elections Canada at that corner of the line, at that section of the line, the end there, telling people, turning people away now that it is past 9:30. The line is so long, we haven't actually seen the extent of it, even walking along the backside and side of this very, very big building. But again, a lot of people here waiting a very, very long time. Still very limited progress, Christina. Police obviously still looking for more clues. Still a very active scene at the home. But I want to bring in Pastor Isaac here, who's known this family for 20 years. Pastor, thank you so much for joining us tonight. The clock is ticking with the State of the Union address scheduled in less than 2 weeks. And that's not the only deadline. If both sides don't come to a compromise by Tuesday, 800,000 federal workers will miss another paycheck. President Trump is expected to argue his case to the American people for a wall at the U.S.-Mexico border. That's an issue that the president has been making since the day he announced he was running back in 2015. This tree right here, a perfect example of why the city put out that advisory. Massive down tree. It's destroyed not one, but 2 cars. It is already starting to get hot and sticky out here. Hard to imagine that by the time a lot of these athletes get out of the water and jump on their bikes, it is going to be even warmer. A very, very difficult day for a lot of parents, a lot of families still just trying to reunite with their loved ones out in the Midwest. And anybody who had to go from the back to the front of the plane, they had to crawl underneath, just like this, just to be able to get inside that cockpit. Full gear, the flag, what was kind of the most, I guess, emotional part of the whole day? Less than 2 weeks ago, this river was flooded above my head. And just to give you an idea of the destruction we're talking about, this section of embankment completely washed out because of that flood. Now that it's finally light out here, we're getting a much better idea of what residents are having to deal with and wake up to this morning. Check this out. Look at this tree. Looks like 2 sections of a tree down here, all because of the snow. And if you haven't got your shopping in yet, it's not too late. They are open until 2 o'clock this morning. We're live at Macy's in Herald Square. Mark Liverman, CBS 2 News.
I don't know, Mark.
Bag after bag dumped. Exclusive cell phone video shows 3 men calmly unloading garbage bags out of this van and dropping them right in front of this school. Then they get back in the van and drive off, leaving behind a heap of smelly trash just a few feet away from an entrance to Fairmont Neighborhood School. You can clearly see the words Bronx Solutions plastered along the van's side, but the rest is hard to make out.
The smell is not good for the area because the kids going to school and the people live here, you know. It's not nice.
Ibrahim Diallo's 7- and 9-year-old kids go to the school off Bryant Avenue in the Crotona Park East section. He says there's so much garbage piling up, kids now have to step over and around it just to get to class.
We do worry about the health for the kid, you know.
Guys from there all the way to there.
And not only does it look bad, it stinks.
Every time I pass over here, every time too much garbage.
And you can see all of the garbage that we're talking about here, even a toilet bowl or parts of a toilet bowl left behind. And just as we were standing here, the Department of Sanitation showed up. It looks like they're starting to clear this away. But again, the biggest problem here, as soon as they do, more trash shows up. So who's doing the dumping and what's being done to stop it? I got the runaround from a Department of Sanitation employee who referred me from one office to another. Do you have any idea how long it's been going on?
Once again, I'm going to give you the number. If you have it already, then please just contact the office.
And that press office told me they're investigating, but so far no one's been caught. There is some hope for these residents. DSNY says starting tomorrow, a new law goes into effect allowing the department to search illegally dumped trash to figure out where it's coming from and prosecute based on that information. Before, they had to catch the dumpers in the act. In the Crotona Park East section of the Bronx, Mark Liverman, CBS 2 News.
He's a danger to everybody, and he needs to be locked up and helped.
The man Wendy Grace is referring to 41-year-old Sean Dillman, accused of stealing a car at this Phoenix Circle K a few weeks ago. Grace's children were in the back seat. The two 10-year-old boys were able to escape before Dillman allegedly drove the stolen car to Peoria, where he was eventually arrested on multiple felony counts. But so far, he's never been charged. How you doing? How you holding up?
Not good.
On Thursday, I had a chance to get Dillman's side of the story.
Well, what happened that day at the Circle K? Do you remember anything from that day?
I do. It's, I thought I was being chased. And I didn't really realize what had happened until afterwards. Like I said, I had stopped taking my meds and it just completely distorted my reality.
I asked Dillman if there was anything he wanted to say to Grace and her children.
I'm scared. And I'm sorry for that.
Last week, the county attorney's office told us they have not filed charges because Phoenix and Peoria police were still investigating the case. So for now, Dillman, who was getting evicted as we approached him to talk, is homeless and out in the streets.
I would want to see, if he were my client, I would want to see him in the behavioral health system from the get-go.
Holly Giesel is an attorney here in the Valley. She says Dillman is a perfect example of someone falling through the cracks in the system.
I'm glad that there's not a premature rush to charge somebody, throw them in jail, without all the facts.
Giesel says she would have liked to see an immediate evaluation after Dillman's arrest.
Is this person a danger to themselves? Are they a danger to others? If they determine they are, then there's the next step of sending the individual, getting them admitted to Desert Vista Hospital, which is our evaluation agency.
But for Dillman, that never happened.
Have you tried to get help, Sean, over the years? Or
Yeah, sure.
how did it go?
Kind of opened my eyes a little bit, you know?
Did it help?
Not really.
So far, Dillman is left without the help he needs. All his belongings right here. Nothing but this backpack and briefcase to his name. In Phoenix, Mark Liverman, 12.
Right now, the Coconino County Sheriff's Office is looking to question a person of interest who may be involved in two suspicious wildfires that were started just north of Flagstaff within the past 2 days. The most recent fire was this morning, forcing several people to evacuate their homes. Team 12's Mark Liverman is live in Doney Park. Mark.
Well, we do know that this fire has been contained, but hotshots are still working to get some of the hot spots out. And you could see a few in the distance there and all of the damage around them, all of the smoke damage. And then just past that, you see this structure here almost burnt to the ground, and more hotshots in the distance working to get some of the hot spots out. Here's what we know so far. Flames shooting up into the early morning sky. The wildfire erupted on this property just north of Flagstaff in the Doney Park neighborhood. Carl Lemke says he woke up to the fire on his property.
I woke up this morning and I didn't even see flames yet. I knew it was glowing through the glass, and then I looked out the window and it's on.
The fire is now fully contained and covered roughly 3 to 4 acres. It's the second of 2 suspicious fires that happened close together within about 24 hours. Lemke says the first one happened Monday. A shed fire went up nearby, and within minutes, it was torching nearby trees.
I'm going to wake up more often tonight because of last night.
The sheriff's office is now looking to question 38-year-old Rachel Ray Bridges in connection with both fires. Lemke says he recognizes Bridges and that she may live nearby. His fear now that this morning's fire won't be the last.
That's frightening because, I mean, as easy as this is to do, but as dry as the conditions are, you know, it wouldn't take much to get her going.
Back out here, you could see just how much damage there is and how far it goes back onto the property. A lot of the objects out here, you can't even tell what they are anymore just because of that smoke damage. I also want to show you this in the distance there. You could see just how close the flames could have got to the rest of Lemke's property early in the morning. At this point, this fire and Monday's fire are still under investigation. In Doney Park, Mark Liverman, 12 News. A harrowing scene that hits home for any dog lover. Hank the pup struggling to stay afloat right in the middle of a canal.
The dog was in the middle. He wasn't listening to us. We were trying to shout for it to come towards us.
Phoenix police officer Connor McCarthy was on his way back to the department when he got the call. He says as soon as he got to the scene near 43rd Avenue in Peoria on the Phoenix-Glendale border, he knew what he had to do.
I knew the only way was for us to jump in and grab the dog.
Cell phone video of the scene shows McCarthy already in the water, but what you don't see in that video is just how fast McCarthy reacted, ripping off part of his uniform and jumping in.
So I took off most of my gear, went in, swam, grabbed the dog. He wasn't too happy when I grabbed him. He was a little scared and panicked.
Deep water all around them.
If I would have stopped, I would have went under. It was, I'd say, 8 feet deep or deeper.
McCarthy says the pooch was so scared, he even tried to bite him a couple times. This as he did everything he could to get Hank closer to the canal bank, where Glendale first responders were ready.
They helped me pull the dog out.
With the help of a rope, Hank was finally able to be rescued, almost running his way up the side of the canal.
I'm just glad we got him out and it was over with.
Judging by this photo taken right after his rescue, Hank was pretty glad too. Eventually, he was reunited with his owner. As for McCarthy, he just did what he had to do.
You know, everybody's a dog lover. A lot of people love dogs. I feel like if I wasn't there, someone else would have done it easily.
McCarthy says he doesn't consider himself a hero, but Hank might think otherwise. In Phoenix, Mark Liverman, 12 News.